Hey everybody, this is Stuart Fuchs. Thanks for watching this video. Really glad that you find all these videos friendly and helpful. Really appreciate all your support. Now today I'm going to be trying to cover an entire subject. It's a really big subject, bar chords, and I'm going to challenge myself to do it in under 6 minutes. So if I'm speaking fast, please forgive me. In 2012 I recorded a video about bar chords. It was called Making Bar Chords Easier, Cultivating the Heavy Hand. This was a process of surrendering to gravity, essentially using non-action to make the hand heavy in order to let gravity do most of the pushing for you. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be showing you the effort side. In other words, the yang to the yin. Now, we're going to be learning count them, four principles of what your fingers need to do in order to make bar chords easier. I'll also be outlining the 3 main bar chord shapes for major chords and the 4 bar chord shapes for 7th chords. It's going to be a little fast-paced, so I hope that you have a notebook ready and that your ukulele is in tune. Please pause the video as much as you want. Please return and watch it as much as you want. Take notes, and I hope this serves you well. Let's get started. So, bar chords. What the heck are they? Why are they so hard to play? Are bar chords chords that you play in bars? That's up to you. The first open chord that we're going to be moving up the neck as a bar chord is based on the A major shape. A major. And the roots of A major are here on the 1st string and also here on the 4th string. In order to create the bar chord, what we need to do is to make the 1st finger into the 0 fret, otherwise known as the nut. In order to do this, we're going to refinger the A major chord like this, place the 1st finger down, and move it up the neck. It's no longer an A major chord, it's now a B flat chord. Why is this? Because the root has moved from A to B flat. When I move it up the neck, my practice recommended to you is that you name it as you move it. B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, etc., etc. Look at me, I'm moving an A major chord up the neck as a bar chord. It's mind-blowing. Let's move on. The next major chord shape that we're going to be moving up the neck is based on the F major chord. Everybody loves an F chord. The F chord, the root is on the 2nd string, 1st fret. So when we refinger it, I'd recommend using fingers 3 and 2, and you use the 1st finger to once again create the 0 fret, the nut. When you move it up the neck, as always, name the chords in time as you play them. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, etc., etc. Look at me, I'm moving an F chord up the neck and naming the chords as I go. It's totally mind-blowing. Let's move on. The next major chord we're going to be moving up the neck is based on the D major chord. Some people finger it like this. Some people finger it like this. Some people use the 1st finger. Some people, I beg your pardon. Essentially, there are 2 main fingerings for moving the D chord up the neck. Use the 3rd finger here, and as you move it up to E flat, I'm using the 1st finger to create the 0 fret. As always, name the chords as you move them up. D to E flat, to E, to F sharp, to G. There is another fingering. If you play your D chord like this, you're going to be moving it up the neck like so. As always, name them as you go. D, E flat, E, F. Totally mind-blowing. I can't believe this is really happening. Let's move on. And now for 7th chords. When you move a 7th chord up the neck, they're essentially going to be based on the major chord shapes, except that 1 extra note will be added. In this case, from A, we move to A7. When you refinger this, the root note is on the 1st string, just like in the A major chord. Name them as you move them up the neck. Totally mind-blowing. Let's move on. The next shape we're going to be using is based on the F chord. To create an F7 chord, you add the 3rd finger here. In order to refinger this to create a movable shape, you would move it up and add the 1st finger here. That's kind of an interesting sound, but more common is this shape, where you add the pinky as well to the 3rd fret. Now, while this isn't a bar chord because it doesn't have 1 finger covering all the strings, it functions like a bar chord. There are no open strings, and it moves up and down the neck. As always, name these as you go. F7, F sharp 7, G7, G sharp 7, A7. Absolutely mind-blowing. Let's move on. The next 7th chord that we're going to be moving up the neck is based on D7. Oh my goodness, this is already a bar chord. Many people learn this as their first bar chord. When you move it up the neck, be aware that the root is moving on the 3rd string, so name them as you go. D, E flat, E. Absolutely mind-blowing. I can't believe this is happening. Let's move on. The last bar chord shape we're going to be working with is G7. With G7, the root is here on the open 4th string. What you're going to want to do to move it up the neck is refinger it like so your 1st finger will take care of the movable root. G, G sharp, A sharp, B, etc., etc. You obviously need to be able to name the notes up and down the strings, but once you can do this, you can play pretty much any chord in any place. Absolutely mind-blowing! Okay, whoa. Alright, thanks for sticking around. The rest of the video will be at normal speed. I hope you got a good laugh out of that. let's get into the 4 principles that your fingers need to do. What is it that'll make the knuckles push down the strings? What do we have to do with the knuckle and finger placement in order to make bar chords really easy? I'm going to outline 4 principles here that not only work for ukulele but also for guitar. Yes, I really do play guitar. I've been playing since I was about 6 years old. Okay, element number 1. When you're placing a bar chord down, many people use the center of the finger, but I'd like you to take a moment and just feel the underside of your finger. Do you feel how there are little bumps, hills, and then valleys? Okay, now everybody's finger is going to be a little bit different, but on this side of the finger, feel the thumb side of the finger and you'll notice it's a lot flatter. So in order to access that flat space, you're going to want to roll this way. Now why? Because if you didn't roll, you're going to have one of the valleys touching the strings, not one of the hills. If you roll this way, you're going to have a nice flat bar that's going to be pushing down the strings uniformly. Bar chord fingering principle number 2. You're going to want to have a little bit of extra fingertips sticking up the top. Why is that? It's a little confusing, right? Because when you look at chord diagrams, the dot is right there, so you might think that you're supposed to put the tip of the finger there. But if you do that, the knuckles don't really line up over the strings to push it down. When you have a little bit of extra finger up top, you can align the knuckles with the strings. How far above the fingerboard do you need it to be? That's going to be up to you. It all depends on where your knuckles are and where they line up with the strings. This is going to depend on your finger, your knuckles, and also what kind of instrument you're playing. In general, a little bit sticking up the top, about enough to put one of these guys up there, should be enough. You decide, you explore. Bar chord fingering principle number 3. This is kind of the tough one. You're going to need to engage the knuckles, almost flexing them this way, in order to push down the strings. So you can roll a little bit this way to give yourself an advantage. You can put a little bit up top to give the advantage, but you're still going to have to engage the knuckles a little bit. While you're engaging the knuckles, be aware of whether these fingers are sticking way up. If they're sticking way up, that's a very natural thing. What it means is that while you're putting effort on this part of the hand, these fingers think they have to be full of effort as well. It's because the tendons aren't totally relaxed. What you want to cultivate over time is to sustain the bar chord and have them be very floppy. If they're sticking up here, no worries. What you want to do is immediately let go and relax the hand. Over time, you'll develop strength on this side of the hand, which will allow these ones to relax. Sometimes just touching them is enough to just relax them. If they're not relaxed and they're way up here, how the heck are you going to get them all the way down here to play bar chords that you want to play? Bar chord fingering principle number 4. Make sure that the 3rd row of knuckles, that's the one that you would be making a fist with, the 3rd row of knuckles shouldn't be back here. If it's back here, what you're doing is you're leaking the power in your hand out this way. It makes it also harder to then curl the fingers down for the bar chord. Look at how it's bending my finger too. I just can't do it. So make sure that this 3rd row of knuckles is not behind the neck. You also want to make sure that they're not too far forward. Both of these put a little too much tension on the wrist and the fingers. What you want to have is essentially them coming right about there, just about below the neck. You explore, you'll find what works for you. Alright, so I hope you found this video interesting. I'm doing something a little different with it. Stay tuned for more videos. Please click here to subscribe to my channel. You can watch other videos. And if you click here, you'll be able to apply these bar chords to a song. We're going to be sliding them around and playing a fun jug band song. My name is Stuart Fuchs, and thanks for sharing this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.